it's summertime here in Southern California. I took my son to the beach and we were boogie boarding. He's a little guy, so it was one of his first boogie boarding sessions, and he had such a good time. We just had a blast. And as we were headed home, and I saw the 7-Eleven, and I'm like, oh, Slurpee. And my
Yes.
son had his first Slurpee ever. It was just like one of the best moments, like a rite of passage. He tried it and he just looked at me and he was like, whoa.
I
So
almost, when you said you had a story, I was gonna be, it's gotta be Slurpee. I mean,
it
that
was
is
awesome.
truly. I mean, I will still, like, I have a 7-Eleven across from my barber shop, and without fail, I will go over and I will get a Coca-Cola Slurpee, and I'm like a 6-year-old again, sitting on the parking lot just drinking.
It's so awesome. It was great.
Yeah,
It was great.
yeah. So great to be chatting with you. Are you in SoCal as well?
Yep.
Cool. Great, man. Well, let's just go ahead and dive in. So, U.S. News recently awarded Mint Mobile with 3 number one rankings for various cell phone plan categories, including the number one spot in their best cell phone plans of 2021 category. First of all, congratulations. How has Mint's excellence in service and affordability played into your work on the marketing side of the business?
Yeah. I mean, it's everything. So we're faced with a really interesting challenge, I should say.
Mm,
Our product, because so for those who don't know, Mint is wireless service like you would get from anywhere, but we just sell it direct to consumer. This space is predicated on retail and individual locations. So when we did this, we reconstructed the model itself. And in doing so, we made the decision to pass the savings on to the customer in the form of like a crazy low price. Well, when we tell people we're selling wireless for $15 a month, the 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 initial reaction is like, well, what's wrong with it?
mm,
And this is something we faced from day one.
mm,
For those watching, there's nothing wrong with it. It's a great service, but it's just different. So we have had to put quality and excellence front and center from the product from the very start, because we
mm,
have a hurdle, and that if someone has even a slightly negative experience, it's going to really be a detriment to them, continuing with the service. And that's really what our
mm,
business is built on, is, gaining a customer and then keeping them for a long amount of time. So quality is absolutely paramount. We're constantly inward looking for ways to improve the product quality, the service quality, everything from, sort of like time people have to wait on hold to just how you feel about the brand. And I think that's something that's really cool that we do, is we amplify a lot of the positivity because of the improvements we've made to the product and service in our marketing.
mhm. So I understand that there's Ultra and then there's Mint. Can you kind of decipher the differences between the two?
Yeah, it's an interesting dynamic. So when I started, there was only Ultra. Mint hadn't launched. I was part of the team that launched Mint, and Mint. So I wasn't even the CMO. I was a SVP of marketing at the time, and we had a number of brands, and that's how our
Mm,
company was set up. As we grew, Mint sort of like took off, and
mm,
it was. I mean, it's been very exciting, but as
mhm,
Mint took off, we caught the eye of Ryan Reynolds, and Ryan became an owner of Mint Mobile
mm.
in 2019. And as such, we created 2 separate entities. So I still oversee both brands, but most of our marketing muscle is dedicated to Mint.
Mhm. What do you think it was about Mint that drew Ryan in?
Well, I mean, so David, our CEO, and Ryan sit on the board for the Michael J. Fox Foundation,
Mhm,
and the two, I think, were just talking because they were on the board, and we were growing so fast, and it's so exciting. It's something that we talk about a lot internally,
mhm,
and ways to continue to grow. So I'm sure our CEO had mentioned it several times that like we've got this rocket ship wireless brand.
mm,
And I think also, if you look at the brand DNA, so he's got maybe in his ear like, oh, there's this new wireless brand. But then if you look at what we were doing from a marketing standpoint at the time, I'm really proud of it. We were a young brand doing big, bold things. We had bought a Super Bowl spot, and depending on how you how you rank Super Bowl spots, it was either amazingly effective or just one of the grossest things people had ever seen. So um, but we're daring, and I think
Mhm.
that's in the brand DNA and the willingness to take risk and be smart, but also have a rock solid product. And I think that's what really attracted him to it. Plus,
Mhm.
like, it's sort of insane that nobody had cracked the direct to consumer nut on wireless, and we
Mhm.
still are, I think the driving force in the space.
Mhm.
So it's pretty exciting to be here. And I think, you sort of catch that when you talk to the teams and you hear about what we're up to.
Are you guys the first to market in that category?
I would say we're the first to do it at scale. I mean, a lot of
Mhm.
people were selling wireless online, maybe as like a
Mhm.
peripheral, but it wasn't really a driver. This is what we do. This is what we're built on.
Mhm.
And our ability to do it and grow so quickly has been, I think, a little bit shocking. We're now
Mhm.
seeing some of the strategies we're deploying being emulated and just
Mhm.
straight up copied by big wireless and their sub
Mhm.
brands. So
Yeah.
it's flattering,
Yep,
but it is
exactly.
happening.
Yeah, and to note to your Super Bowl ad, you always want to be like the top three or like the ass end back, like because at least if you're so horrible or so great, you're talked about. If you're if you're number 26 or whatever, like you wasted your money.
Yeah, it was interesting because, I mean, people saw it. Like, people saw it and they saw
Mm,
the brand. Just the fact that
mm,
we had this chunky style milk, like,
mhm.
concept, just, people were so put off by it but it
Yeah.
worked. It worked. So, I mean, we
Mhm.
bought that spot. God, we bought it at CES. I remember, like, giving the approval to buy it, and the Super Bowl was, I think,
Like
3
a
weeks.
month later. Oh my
Yeah.
god.
So, I mean, it was
Mhm.
it was crazy fun, crazy risky, and I'm
Oh my
so
god.
happy we did it. It ended up
Yeah.
it was like pouring jet fuel onto our brand. Like, all of a
Uh,
sudden, one of the strategies we had to deploy early on, I told you, we
mhm.
faced this issue of, is it any good? Right? Can
Mhm.
it be any good for $15 a month? Well,
Yeah.
you put your name out on the Super Bowl, and people are like, well, it's certainly not a joke anymore. Like,
Mhm.
everybody knows what a Super Bowl spot costs. So
Mhm.
these guys are legit, and it really
Mhm.
helped advance us, I think, to the next stage.
And as a company, do you guys typically fly by the seat of your pants when it comes to marketing, or was this just one like rash decision?
No, look, this is me. This is our CEO. I hate testing. I hate
Yeah,
it. You can, if anybody asks me about how I feel about testing, I hate it.
yeah,
Particularly creative. And I feel like, look, people, they'll tell you all kinds of things when you ask them
mhm,
questions. That's what people are great at. But as a
yeah,
marketer, you've got to look at this with a different lens, and you've got to sort out what's right for your brand and what's right for your business objective.
mhm,
And consumers aren't looking at it that way.
mhm,
So I think, do we fly by the seat of our pants? No. But do we take risk? Fuck yeah. Like, all the time.
mhm,
I preach it to my team
mhm,
that if you're not failing,
mhm,
you're not pushing the envelope. I mean, we're doing things now today that are standard for
mhm,
us that seemed absolutely
mhm,
batshit crazy when we came up with them. Like, give the service away for free. Everybody's
yeah,
like, you're going to get ripped off like crazy. We still do it. Like, it's part of our
mhm,
business. So I think, taking some calculated risk, operating with your gut and some
mhm,
smarts behind you, you advance more than, over analyzing a decision. Just get out there and see if
mhm.
it works or not. And then if it doesn't, be okay with that. Not everything has to be a home run. Put base runners on.
Yeah, totally. And I loved what you said when we were promoting earlier on LinkedIn. You said, "Let's be provocative," and I think
Yeah.
that's truly the ethos of your guys' brand.
Well, yeah, look, we just did a stunt for Bobby Bonilla Day, right? Like, I
Yep.
know it's a question you have,
We're
but
gonna
like,
we're gonna jump into that. Yes, for sure.
yeah,
Actually,
like,
let's go ahead. I'm gonna ask you the question, then let's get into it.
all right.
So the topic for today is the future of in-housing. From what I understand, you have a pretty interesting dynamic that has you living in two worlds. One being a full-service in-house creative agency, full bars, and then the other being Maximum Effort, Ryan Reynolds' agency. You recently did a campaign for what has famously become Bobby Bonilla Day, which I love because I'm a big New York Mets fan. A nod to the New York Mets former third baseman and their awful contract agreement, which is commemorated every year on July 1st. Tell us about that and how it all came together and how these teams work together on this.
Yeah, so just for those who don't know who Bobby is and what it's all about, he will have been paid for 25 years consecutively, $1.2 million on July 1st. Like, that's Bobby Bonilla Day. And Twitter loves it.
Hmm.
So I do work in an awesome world, by the way.
Hmm.
It's amazing having two excellent agencies, one in-house and one outside.
Hmm.
Maxi is run by George Dewey. He's Ryan's business partner, writing partner, and just brilliant creative mind.
Love George.
Yeah, this came from them, right? So
Hmm.
this started with them like, hey, this is coming. We didn't have much time. Like
Hmm.
we thought of the idea, or it would have been kicked around, and then we sort of made it come to life in a short amount of time. And we do that on almost everything. That's how you stay
Hmm.
relevant. Um, but George and the team come up with this idea, and then we had to figure out a way how to connect it back to the brand.
Hmm.
So, the Bobby Bonilla deals is this excruciatingly long contract. Well, that's not what we do, but we do buy in
Hmm.
bulk and save. So we thought it would be really fun to come up with a 25-year wireless plan. And we did. And because Mint is deep discounts and buy in bulk, we're
Hmm.
like, and we'll sell it for $100 a year.
Hmm.
And it will make a real thing out of it. The whole time thinking, look, we're going to do this because you got to sell a real product, but we're not going to sell. Nobody's going to drop $2,500 like for 25 years of wireless. It's just a fun idea. And it will do it on July 1st.
Uh,
Maximum Effort is able to get Bobby to partner with us. So we've got Bobby on board. So our team has to like architect a new wireless plan. So we get to work on
hmm.
that. And our marketing team and our agency in-house have to do everything, right? So we're doing,
Hmm.
so Maxi handles all the great, we put that spot on TV, that's right, just for the day. So the television
Hmm.
spots, the digital
Yeah.
videos, and you know, Ryan's involved and social media and all that. But then
Hmm.
our team and our in-house team, we set up a war room. We had the writers' room in there, and I mean, it's starting to feel like things are coming back to normal again, right? Like these things
Hmm.
we missed. But great idea from Max E. They come up with an amazing execution, and the concept's great. We take it and we sort of run it through the finish line, and we're feeding information between all of us, right? So people are asking how many of you sold. Our brand is putting some information out at the end of the day or the next day. People want to know. So we're telling Ryan, and Ryan's really proud of it. And they're putting it out. It was just like such an awesome day. And the whole time
Hmm.
to have like George and Maxie and Ryan with full bars and our brand marketing team, it was just this beautiful thing that like works so well. And I feel like that dynamic is special, and it's great to have just really talented people who want to work together. And
Hmm.
it's probably one of the best creative uh, I mean, it's tough to say the best creative opportunities or shops, but it is special because it's
Hmm.
just, everything seems to work, and everybody's open and transparent, and it does happen in real time. So that's also very beautiful. There's not a lot of time for review. It's, hey,
No.
this is going to work. We're putting our bet here. Let's go.
Hmm. How fun. Is that the usual that the teams are working in unison like that, or was that a special case scenario?
Yeah, the teams are always working together. I'm sort of the bridge, or our VP of marketing is the bridge between the groups. Sometimes, we operate a lot in text. It's just sort of the easiest way to keep everybody on the same page, because we do work in what they call fastertizing, so
Hmm.
speed to market, playing off
Hmm.
of what's happening in social and what's happening in real time. So in
Hmm.
order to do that and make it work, yeah, we're all texting each other and keeping each other abreast of what's going on. It's
Yeah.
fun.
That's awesome. And from what George Dewey has told me, his agency is surprisingly small despite all its fanfare. Is Full Bars a small one as well?
No, Full Bars is a decent sized shop. So we've got over 20 people.
Okay.
Um, we do all the creative for everything in house, right? So
Hmm.
when you look at app, when you look at website, when you look at account management, advertising, everything except for the TV commercials,
Hmm.
and some of our social, we execute with maximum effort. But for the most part, everything is done in house, and
Hmm.
that team has got copywriters, it's got designers, digital
Hmm.
designers, UX, animators,
Hmm.
sound people, everything. And we're hiring, by the way. So like we're always hiring.
Nice.
Like we're starving for talent.
Hmm.
Our company's just growing so fast, and the brand's growing so quick that we're
Hmm.
constantly reinvesting in our teams and growing our capability and our capacity.
That's awesome. So you've received some well-deserved personal recognition recently from several publications. I know it's hard to hear as one of the most innovative CMOs in the world. Can you let us know into your mindset and some of the ways you've been able to succeed against your competition, some of who happen to be the biggest brands with the largest budgets in the world?
Yeah, I mean, thank you. It feels weird. It's just bizarre. Like, but if I had to pinpoint what makes us good at what we do, it's like freedom and creativity and what our head of consumer insights calls outside in thinking. Tom Wagner, he's a brilliant guy, but like from a company standpoint, we are given lots of freedom in the marketing department. And I'm a big fan of keeping the edges sharp and not dulling them as marketers. So I
Mm-hmm.
think we get a lot of opportunity to push the envelope. We did a campaign with Ryan that we approved that was about, don't aviation and mint.
Yeah.
The text bubbles, I mean, I'm reading them and I'm reading them with, you know, men, women, like my boss, like we're all
Mm-hmm.
watching it together. And I'm like, yep, this is what we're going to do. This is going to be good for the brand. So,
Mm-hmm.
like having that freedom is really great. Having an amazingly creative team as well. And then just letting them be amazing and creative and not trying to round the edges.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's really, really important. And then outside in thinking, I'll be honest with you. In the interview, when I interviewed for the role here, I
Mm-hmm.
did not know that our phones had SIM cards in them. So I have like literally no telco background. I was working at Taco Bell before this, so slinging, tacos. And I feel like that serves as an advantage because I came in
Mm-hmm.
inquisitive and challenging sort of the status quo. And I think
Mm-hmm.
Mint really benefited from some outside in thinking where it's like, well, why can't you do it this way? But we're the only brand selling online. So let's say we can and try it. And we did that a lot. And look, we made mistakes and we failed at a bunch of things, but the things we were really good at, we amplified and used them to grow.
For the sake of fun, can you tell me about a time you just completely fell on your face?
Well, yeah. I mean, like our growth like really hurt us. So we did one of our first we just did a crazy holiday promo one year, and like the sales numbers were so big that we couldn't ramp up fast enough for customer service and like shipping. Like it was one of those moments where everybody's willing to do anything and answer the phones and be in the warehouse. Like it's a full-blown team effort. It was a company where the brand was real young, and we'll never make that mistake again. But
Yeah.
like it was painful. Like we took it on the chin with reviews and customer service complaints. We ended up making it right for a bunch of people by just giving away service because it's the thing you should do it. If it happened to you,
Yeah.
you would be. Look, some people still left, and I mean they're still upset with us, but that was one where it was embarrassing. So we don't ever want to do that again.
Yeah. In a way, it sounds like a high class problem, but yeah, I mean, if you can't scale, if you can't give the customers what you need, then it does blow up in your face, obviously.
Yeah.
So you famously gave your subscribers unlimited data last year when the pandemic was at its height and people were on their phones more than ever. And you worked with Ryan Reynolds to have him help deliver the message straight to consumer voicemails. How did that campaign come about, and what was the reaction like from your customer base?
Well, that was awesome. So that was an instance where I can't even remember who told us. Like I didn't know we could put voicemails onto the accounts of customers, and sure enough, we can. So once we
So you didn't
found,
have to call them; you just like zoomed it over to them.
yeah, it just like sort of you had a bing, and then there was a
Mhm.
voicemail for you, and
Name
it's
specific and all.
pardon.
Name specific and all. Like, hey,
No,
Jake.
no, 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 no,
No.
no, no, no. We didn't
No.
do that. But it was a message from Ryan, and it was a service update is really what it was. But we did it with the creative lens. And again, so you just asked in-house and outside. This is another example of how now we bring in our technical teams who build these things, the engineers who create it. we bring that group in and we partner all together. And they came up with I'll remember it. I'll never forget it because it was Friday the 13th when we got the stay-at-home order here in California. I
Mm-hmm.
called our CEO that night. We came up with the idea to give everything away.
Mm-hmm.
We were on the phone with Ryan and team figuring out how to bring it to the customers. By Monday, it was live and we dropped the voicemail. It was just insane how fast and how well everybody worked. The consumer base, or the subscriber base, excuse me, loved it. It was awesome.
Of course,
I mean,
yeah.
you get this message from Ryan and, like he's telling you, hey, this sucks, but we got your back. You've got free unlimited data. Here's how to get it. You're good to go. What was awesome is, and this was sort of like just luck and maybe some smarts mixed together, but we knew that when we put the voicemail on the device, there would be a phone number associated with it. So what we did for, maybe somebody calls back, maybe they don't, but we left an incoming voicemail message if you dial the number back from Ryan, and we got a bunch of messages, and they were so good that we just cut, it's a video, but it's only the audio of it. We cut it together and put it out on the web. It was awesome. And to me, it's like an instance where, doing right by the customer, having some fun marketing it and not being too serious. And it sort of like caught a little fire, and it was a great little program.
How long did that last for? Can you still get unlimited or?
So we gave free unlimited data to all the customers for 90 days. Then, we've done it for Texas when Texas got hit by the deep freeze.
Oh, nice.
We've done free calling to India when India got hit real bad with the COVID crisis. So we do these things. They're not necessarily things you want to do because it's heavy, but we want to make sure we're doing right by the subscriber.
Yeah, actually, I wanted to kind of double tap into that a little bit on the fact of like, did you guys have to go to like your data and ops teams and be like, are we out of our minds to promise this? Are we gonna, end up getting throttled on our data and it's gonna kill us or cause us harm?
We start with heart, man. I gotta be honest with you. Like, we almost always start from, is this the right thing to do? And there's always some abuse, but for the most part, I think people are good. And we had a couple people, like, I'm sure they were like Bitcoin mining or something, who knows,
or video game streaming or something.
And we reach out to them, and most people are reasonable. And I think our legal team is great too. Shout out to the legal. They will put things in there like unlimited is not unreasonable, like this is a personal account, things like that that protect us a little bit. Even Bobby Bonilla, right? If you read the legal on the Bobby Bonilla plan, it's pretty fun. But we do have an out clause in there because who knows what's going to happen 25 years from now.
Actually, that's a great reminder to me. So we never got into the specifics. How successful, how many 25-year plans did you guys sell?
We sold 124 plans. 12 of those people had bought 2, which meant they dropped $5,000 on wireless.
And this is an upfront cost?
Yeah. So it was like an insane day. Like Slack was blowing up. We were laughing so hard. Twitter, we were putting the updates out. Like, this is crazy. We just, good for them. Right on. We're happy to have you, but it's just got to be one of the craziest things ever.
So I guess that breaks down to like $8 and change per month over that whole span of time. Am I right on that? Was it $100 a year?
Yeah, it was. 100 divided by about 830.
Pardon my French, but that's fucking insane.
Yeah. Well, we didn't really think we were going to sell any. So, but all right with 124 people.
I was going to say year 24 and a half. What is this? 2044, when phone plans were like $6,000 each, and you still got the 825 plan.
Yeah. Well, who knows how
amazing.
Probably be on a contact lens by then,
I know, exactly. You could probably make that kind of 25-year bet because the world will be so different by then. Probably be built into our bodies or something. So as Ryan Reynolds is an owner of brands like Aviation Gin, Mint Mobile, has been featured in the brand crossover. We talked about this a little bit, but let's get into it a little bit deeper. Aviation Gin specifically, you were able to poke fun at sexting while inebriated. while warning customers not to aviation and mint. Can you tell the audience about that campaign, its goals, and if there were any other potential brand crossovers that we can look forward to in the back half of this year or next year?
Yeah, well, I mean, if you follow Ryan, which a lot of people do, you obviously
Absolutely.
know he's an entrepreneur. He's an entrepreneur who also likes to poke fun at himself. He interviews himself. I mean, the guy is like very, very funny.
Yeah.
Um, it seemed natural at some point for the brands to have an engagement.
Mhm.
Um, Obviously, people drink and they text and there's regret. Like, this is real, right? Like, I mean,
I've lived it.
who hasn't? And if you haven't, live a little. You know,
Mm,
but it just seemed like a fun thing to do. So yeah, we did it.
mhm,
It was light. It was airy. We played in social media back and forth with the aviation team, and we
mhm.
continue to do so on some things. We've actually done another crossover. So Ryan is part of the match group,
Okay.
and I can't remember the last time this ever happened, but Match run a campaign at the end of or at the beginning of this year with the Satan falling in love with 2020.
Mhm,
We used the same Satan character to be an employee of Big Wireless in one of our
mhm,
spots.
mhm,
So to me, that was really special because that was an instance where, it wasn't really Ryan featured as an actor, entrepreneur in the
mhm,
spot, but the character and the idea and the concept carried over from the agency, which I thought was really brilliant. And I loved it. So I was really, really proud of that work and what it takes to
mhm,
do something like that because it's just tough. But
mhm.
I don't know if we're going to have any. The beauty of fastertizing is like we could come up with something next week. So maybe,
Mhm.
but nothing on the books right now.
Okay. Marissa, don't tell me it's over already.
We're getting close. I have to say, I don't know if you guys know this or remember, but we here at 7-Eleven partnered with both Deadpool 2 and Detective Pikachu. So we have a bit of a connection there with Ryan Reynolds. So it's been really fun to hear about how he's working with you guys.
Yeah, it's
Very
awesome.
cool. Can I ask one more question before we roll?
Absolutely, go for it.
All right, because this one I put it in my little pitch about today on LinkedIn, so I have to ask because I was like
Yeah.
blown away that you guys managed to pull this off. So you brought Rick Moranis out of acting retirement. Tell me about that campaign and how you guys were able to do that.
Well, I'll tell you. This was one where you don't dull the edges, right? Like we
Mhm,
had the campaign was called Ryan and so we had a bunch of co-stars to just go up with Ryan and talk about Mint.
mhm,
We found one of our original customers, all kinds of people, and Rick was
mhm,
one of the celebrities they had proposed.
mhm.
When I saw the script, I was like, "Huh, Rick Moranis." Like, I mean, I remember going to the drive-in and seeing Little Shop of Horrors in a drive-in, like
Mhm. Yeah.
but our brand, I wasn't sure what to do with it. And I just
Mhm,
talked to George and was like, look, I trust you guys. If you think this is going to work, I'm all in. Let's do it. And
mhm,
they're I mean, if you watch the spot, it's basically just Ryan and Ah. Like Rick isn't pitching anything. There's nothing. He's just
mhm.
like, hey, look, it's Rick. And we thought it would be fun and it would like get a little bit of attention, but it
Mhm,
just went nuts. And I think that's sort of the beauty of these guys is
mhm,
just to let them be creative and let creativity happen and don't try to get in its way and trust.
mhm.
So yeah,
Yeah.
it was, I mean, internally, I think I look like a genius, but I always give the
Mhm,
credit to where the credit is due. Those guys are
mhm,
geniuses and we
mhm.
just are the sort of like lucky bystanders that get to watch it happen in real time.
Yeah. I mean, you guys are undoubtedly the kings and queens of advertising right now. Like, just I can't say enough good things about your creativity, your spunkiness, your willingness to take risks. I've really, really enjoyed this time. I wish we had another half hour because I have a million more questions. So maybe we'll get a chance to chat about it offline. But thank you so much, Aaron. Thank you, Marissa. Really, really appreciate it.
Thanks, Chris.
Yeah, thank you both. I really enjoyed hearing how Met Mobile just moves so quickly, and I think you've coined a new term with fastertizing. So,
That's
we,
not me. That's maximum effort. That they own that
okay,
one.
good. All right, we'll give them credit. But I mean, that's what it is these days, right? To stay relevant to the consumer, you have to be able to move really, really quickly, or they will move on without you. So really appreciate those insights.
Great. Thank you, guys.
Thanks again.
Yeah, thank you. All right, what a really great session that we had today. I'm so grateful to all the amazing marketers that shared their in-housing and creative experiences with us, from toys to beer to mobile phones. We covered a lot of different areas, and look forward to applying a lot of those learnings here at 7-Eleven in terms of how we're approaching in-house and creative. So thank you to all of our panelists and our moderators. It's just been a really great time. And thank you to all the attendees for joining us today. We hope you can also join Brand Innovators next week on Tuesday, July 27th for the Purpose Driven Marketing Summit. That starts at 12 noon Eastern Standard Time. We'll be joined by marketing leaders from Wolverine Worldwide, Reach Mobile, Mondelez International, American Influencer Council, Who Gives a Crap, and many more. So thanks, and we hope to see you guys again soon.